shattered communities, outrage, and a nation searching for answers. Behind every statistics is a child whose innocence has been stolen, whose trust has been broken, and whose future may be permanently altered. While government institutions, civil society organizations, legal practitioners, religious leaders, and child protection advocates are stepping up efforts to fight against a growing menace, one question remains: are we doing enough to protect rape, abuse of children, minors in Cameroon? The program is Women and Leadership. Why do so many cases go unreported? Let me put it that way. Well, do some victims remain trapped in silence? What barriers should be or stand between abused children, justice? Now, how can security move to concrete action that protects every child? Tonight, we confront the different questions. We examine the effectiveness of existing laws, the challenges faced by victims and their families, the role of communities, and the collective responsibility of a nation determined to safeguard its children. And if you have missed any of our past editions, you can go to our YouTube page. You type Canal International, you type Women and Leadership, you type the thematic of the day, and you can watch all our past editions. And let the conversation begin just after the jingle. And our thematic for today is child abuse in Cameroon. Our current measures enough to protect our children. That is the thematic of today. And just like in our past editions, we invited just the right resourceful persons to provide solutions or to diagnose today's thematic. And I'll begin with a person that is very close to my love. She's called Dr. Mufo Clementine Sendo. She is the president of the Asian African Chamber of Commerce. She is the founder of Nest Consolidate. She is a relationship counselor. Dr. Mufo Clementine, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
And how are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing.
Okay.
I'm doing amazing.
It's good to have you around on the program. It's been a while.
It's really been a while, and today particularly, I can't wait to air out what is piquing me. And picking this topic particularly, I'm excited because the air is hot.
All right, tell us a little bit about your sector. You are the president of the Asian African Chamber of Commerce. Tell us what's all about.
The Chamber of Commerce is all about commerce and how we can industrialize the little bit we have at the industrial level, because Africans and Cameroonians in particular, we have a little mind of thinking small. We have to upscale to the international level, global level. We produce every day, but we are thinking at just our local markets. But what more of us moving from the market in Cameroon to the international level in Asia, in other parts of Africa.
And do you move along with women?
Of course. Those are our greatest, strongest points, because women have the aptness of coming together. You can easily come together with a vision with women, and that vision didn't have a glow of where they're going to. They didn't even have the eyes to move, and women will give it foot, hands, ears, and legs to run. And women are the strongest point you can have in your business. Thank you for asking.
All right, we equally have barrister Martina Eno. She is a barrister at law and member of the Cameroon Bar Association. She is involved in a lot of activities, having her own NGO, let me put it that way. She is has a what or promoting what we call women impacting values for development. She recently launched a book in Limbe, southwest region of Cameroon, and she has the books here. Can you tell us how you're doing?
Hello, Auntie Maureen. I'm doing okay. Hello, viewers. It's a privilege to be on Women in Leadership again after a while. And I'm particularly excited because the book, Chronicles of the Survivors, is coming at a time in our nation where there is a lot happening with our young girls. And we are not, now we have a lot of cases reported about girls, but then this is not limited to girls. And that is why the Chronicles of the Survivors captures a story about a boy who also has or who also goes through abuse.
Because boys to go through
they
abuse.
too go through abuse.
A lot of them.
Yes.
And it is most often is gone unreported.
Unreported.
Now tell us what pushed you to put down in a book.
Yeah,
Is it that you have seen so many cases? Is it that you've seen victims cried out, and you think the best way was to put this down?
In my community advocacy interventions, I run a shelter where girls are accommodated to go to school. Some of them happen to be survivors of abuse.
Okay.
I do a lot of community interventions, especially when we had projects in my 16. It's a community we earmarked because of a lot of teenage pregnancies. We realized that many young girls get abused, and then they do not just get abused and remain with their innocence broken, but they have an aftermath of teenage pregnancy to deal with taking care of children without the fathers. And they bring a burden to their families, which some most often financially cannot manage the situations, and we have a lot of spiral effects in communities. We see children raised and then they repeat the circle because they are groomed without a good family. They do not have what it takes to have the kind of morals they deserve to grow up with, and then they also become teenage mothers. You can have a circle of 3 to 4 generations of teenage mothers in a family.
All right, let's hold the two books, because that's the most recent publication you're having there.
Yes.
And this other book, The
Resilient Girl, is just telling every girl how you can build yourself to avoid abuse when it comes. You should know it can come at any time. What do you need to think or contemplate ahead of time, so that if you face challenges, you already know what to do.
So every girl has to read that book.
These
Parents,
two books are very
have
important.
to read the book.
Yes.
Families need those books so that they know how to caution the girl child,
Yes,
right?
very important.
We'll come back to that. We equally have a barrister, Nofi Dian. She is a member of the Cameroon Bar Association. I think this is the first time inviting you to my program, Women and Leadership. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing
Maureen.
today?
I'm fine. I'm doing great.
And I love your hats.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, tell us what you do. What besides being a lawyer? Now, what do you do? What activity? What do you do to promote women, especially? Since we're talking about women, we're talking about girls here.
Yes, we are talking about women, talking about women empowerment as well. Most of the time, I used to encourage young girls to develop some activities, some financial activities, to run their own business. And I used to work with 3 of my sisters, but now we are still working a family way. Yes, a family way, promoting women how to make fascinators. Yes, and most of the time, I also used to defend women. You know, on this previous,
court, right?
Yes, in court, defend women. You know, with all this feminicide problem issue that happened. So we used to counsel, we used to work with barrister Charlotte Chakunte, doing the counseling for those women and encourage
and
women
most
to...
often it's free.
Yes, most of the, yes, it's free of charge.
Most of the time, the women don't have money to pay lawyers to push their cases in court.
Of course, it's free of charge.
You're doing it pro bono. Let me use
Yes.
that term.
Yeah,
all right, we'll come
bono.
back to you. We equally have Doris Gum. She is involved in what I would call community transformation leader, or let's say she is a community transformation leader. She is the executive director of Royalty World. Is that, am I right?
Royalty
now, tell us
World.
a little bit about Royalty World.
Royalty World, as the name sounds, we're creating a royalty, we're creating a world where people come in and find their identity. Our hope is that our communities, Africa is the richest continent in the world, but how come we are the poorest? We are the poorest because somehow somebody has told us a lie about our identity. And we believe that our own solutions are not found out of us, it's found within us. So as Royalty World, we create that space where we empower young girls, especially because we believe that they are actors of development. They are actors of development.
Okay.
I even don't like to focus a lot about the vulnerability side, because it's about really really being able to paint their identity. It's being able to confer identity on them. We run a project called Restore Her Dignity, which is one of our biggest and our flagship project. And that project is really about empowering the young girl to know her rights, to know who she is, to know her identity, to know who she is, and then to know, and then empowering the mothers as well, to be able to understand how to parent.
You empower them by doing what exactly?
We have a few activities. We run 4 key thematic areas. We run wash projects, and within the wash projects, we run menstrual hygiene projects. And we produce washable pads for young girls so that they don't experience their period in shame. They are able to experience their periods with dignity. We work with economic empowerment, and through economic empowerment, I also run another organization and managing partner of Rhino Cameroon. Rhino Cameroon is a vocational training center where we have over more than 20 machines, and we are training young girls and women, single mothers especially, to have a trade so that they can empower themselves, because poverty is not a lack of resources, it's just that ability to have the capacity to produce, to empower themselves.
How many young girls or women have been empowered and made them self-reliant or economically empower them?
So far, we've worked with over 100 girls who have passed through the center, but then within communities, we've worked in over 50 communities in the Northwest and the Southwest region, distributed more than 200,000 pads already within those communities, and we just don't give them pads. Well, we work through organizations who sponsor these pads. Currently, we implement for UNICEF. We also work with our friends and our brothers in diaspora who come in and sponsor the pads for us to take to the community members.
All right, that's so huge. And before we get into today's thematic, I would like us to watch this report by Lato Cynthia. She paints a situation for abuse of children in Cameroon, the number we have at the moment between January and the months of June, where we find ourselves. A lot of cases keep coming up. I'll have the most recent case of 3-year-old child that was raped in a school in Yaoundé. We call it the intervention of government, civil society to have been reacting. Let's watch it right back just after the jingle.
A 68-year-old man is accused of sexual acts involving at least 6 minor girls, aged between 5 and 13, in the Japoma neighborhood of Douala. According to residents, several children in the same area are believed to be affected.
Je lui demande que quand il te donne le bonbon le biscuit, qu'est-ce qu'il dit? Que grand-père lui dit qu'il parte dans la chambre jouer. Je dis que jouer quoi? Qu'il nous porte, il nous met sur le lit.
Ma fille, elle a 13 ans. Quand l'enfant témoigne, il envoie les doigts dans le fesse de l'enfant, il suce, il envoie les doigts de l'enfant, il suce.
Parce que ce papa arrivé au quartier il y a de cela 2 ans. Ma fille qui a 14 ans, il fait l'harcèlement sexuel.
Les enfants garçons, ils chassent. Quand c'est les petites filles, et ils appellent avec les bonbons, entrez. Quand ils viennent maintenant, ils mettent les doigts dans les fesses.
Following the reports, parents filed a complaint at the police station. The case is now under judicial investigation.
Nous sommes arrivés au 16e, nous sommes partis, on a fait tous les certificats médicaux et on se retrouve en train de nous torturer même.
In Idea, a 17-year-old boy has accused a 50-year-old neighbor of rape. Police intervened following tension in the community and took the suspect into custody. The victim received medical care.
C'était à 7h00 samedi. Il m'a réveillé. Il a dit que je veux que tu viennes seul pour qu'on plie les habits. Je voulais passer par la porte du devant. Il m'a dit que non, je passe par la porte du derrière. Moi, je ne savais même pas qu'il était derrière moi. C'est là où, le temps que je vais me lever, il me coigne sur les mains. Il baisse le pantalon, il met son machine là-bas dedans, il met l'huile. Jusqu'à que tout son machin là encore là-bas dedans. We voulait même d'abord crier, après du coup si tu cries, il te tue.
Investigations are ongoing. In Guider, in the North region, a couple says they have filed complaints over alleged sexual abuse involving 3 children aged 5, 7 and 9. According to the parents, the allegations span over 2 years and involved incidents they say occurred within a school environment.
Pendant les enquêtes, mes enfants ont parfois cité d'autres enfants qui avaient été à un moment ou à un autre impliqués dans cette chaîne.
They also alleged that the children were taken out of school and exposed to exploitation in other locations. The allegations have not been independently verified.
Nous avons écrit et puis nous subissons des menaces de toute nature. Ma femme a été convoquée plusieurs fois à la police.
In Yaoundé, authorities are investigating a case involving a 2-year-old baby girl allegedly assaulted at her school. The incident, which occurred at the Odzwa neighborhood, has drawn public attention and renewed discussions on child protection and safety.
It shed some tears because I am also a father, and I am the father of the subdivision, so I sympathize with those who are manifesting.
Across Cameroon, civil society organizations raise concerns about rising cases of sexual abuse on children and continue to call for stronger protection systems, improved reporting mechanisms, and better coordination between institutions handling sexual violence cases.
Une synergie pour que plus jamais un enfant ne soit plus, que ce soit mineur, que ce soit violence faite sur les femmes, ne se fasse plus dans notre pays.
They say existing frameworks need reinforcement to respond to a scale of reported cases.
On pense que le rôle de la société civile, c'est de passer véritablement à l'action, mais surtout aussi de mettre la pression sur ce qui est fait au niveau du gouvernement.
In response to rising concerns over sexual violence, the Cameroon Bar Association has set up a specialized unit to support victims.
It's because it came to an alarming point. To say that a man of around 60 years has some inappropriate sexual relationship or is raping a child of around 3 years, it is either occultic or is devilish, to say the least. Those are demonic acts.
In its first week, it registered about 15 complaints of rape and sexual abuse of minors. The initiative aims to promote legal assistance and strengthen the handling of such cases before the court.
And we are saying that there is no cost involved in this. The victim and the family of the victim would not pay.
From Douala to Edea, Yaoundé and Guider, multiple cases and complaints are now under scrutiny. While investigations continue, questions remain about prevention, reporting, and access to justice for victims and families.
Welcome back. With me here in the studio, I have women who are into different sectors, empowering other women, but most especially women who are advocating for the girl child, women who are defending the rights not only of women, but the rights of children as well. And we have seen recent cases of abuse of children, and we saw government's intervention. We saw how government mobilized with press conferences in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, the Minister of Communication, Minister of Basic Education. We had both the Ministries of Social Affairs and Women Empowerment coming out, screaming out loud and telling the whole world that the abuse of children is alarming. Now, what analysis do you make of government's intervention at this point in time with the numerous cases of child abuse in Cameroon?
Maureen, that's the right question. I don't know if it's to the right person because I will speak loud.
Okay.
I'm going to speak loud because I will say it to any face. It's not enough. It's not enough because these kids are suffering. And it's a pain that is not going to go away today. It's not going to go away tomorrow. It's going to live with them all through life. So what are we doing to help the situations not to keep happening? I bet to tell you 1 out of every 1 has had either an attempted rape or a rape case.
You're talking of Cameroon?
I'm talking of Cameroon. I'm talking of Cameroon. I, for one, I lived in a family wherein we had more of boys. And believe you me, our parents in those days, unlike now that we have social media, that things have been exposed. We were all in the same house. A lot happened. I've had 7 attempted rapes. I lived with it. I didn't have the rape happen because my eyes were always widely open. What if it wasn't? Now, the question now is, you just ask me, what am I looking at that the government is doing or is not doing to me?
Because at least we have the government come out shouting,
shouting,
blowing the alarm that at least enough is enough
no,
on the abuse of children in Cameroon.
I bet to deny that shouting. It's about setting rules and regulations. Those who are the activators of all of this, what are we doing about it? We start a case and we never finish. You say you are in the bar. Yes. Thank you.
No.
Now, I'm not asking her a question. Now, I'm going to say this.
Okay.
If the government is going around shouting, it means the market woman is going to go around shouting and everybody shouting. And what are the rules put in place for those who are actually doing these actions? They should be telling me the government has taken upon itself that if you are even sensed that you have a mind towards a little child, either you are taken to an incubation center, put it in they have to incubate you so that your brain has to be reformatted and brought back to life because you're barely living like you are in the zoo. I don't even remember when a lion, a baby cub, was being raped by a lion. It doesn't happen, even in the animal world. So the government should do better, not cry out loud, but speak.
We'll come back to that. Now, Doris, when we look at government's intervention, I'll look at the numerous measures that government has put in place. Now, what do you have to say about that? At least someone is doing something somewhere, right? Absolutely, to protect children?
Absolutely. Someone is doing something somewhere. But then there needs to be a wake-up call. And to me, that wake-up call is in the homes, because that is where it begins. She's talking about this thing happening in the house. Where are our parents when all of these things are happening? Where are the parents? And in our time, I used to stay home. I would see my mom in the house. My mom would teach me. The community would be there and present to teach me. But this day and time, we are chasing after money. Our children, unfortunately, are left to social media as educators. We are depending on the schools to educate them. A few days ago, I had a case. In fact, on Monday, this lady walks in and she tells me, within the context of the crisis, she's an IDP that has come into Mile 16, and she is living with this young girl. And they used to be in a condo TT. Unfortunately, there is no school. So somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to help you with your child. And she takes the child and hands over to this person, only to collect that child 5 years later and then finds out that the child has pills. And it's like, why are you having these pills? And then the child tells her, that is because the man I was living with was raped, was having, an affair with me and giving me this to flush it so that the wife doesn't know about it. Now, out of desperation, we have a mother who is trying to look for a solution for her child and then hands it over to another parent. And because we don't have proper family structures, that's really the reason why in the first place you would be handing over your child to another person. Yes, that has happened. But then what about the ones who are there at home and big brothers are doing it to the small brothers? So I think we really need to tighten the family structure.
The family structure.
The family structure. The problem is with
mothers. The problem is with parents.
Fathers. Generally parents, fathers and mothers.
Need to wake up.
Are we safe space? Can they talk to us? She's talking. I don't know whether she had the courage to ever tell her mom that this is what was going on. Probably this is the first time her mother might be watching this on TV and understanding that this is what used to happen. Because we ourselves, I'm calling myself now a parent. I am a parent, and I'm asking myself the question, am I safe space enough for these children to come and confide in? Have I prepared them? She's talking about resilience. Have I prepared them to be resilient women who can stand up for themselves? And even the boys who are the perpetrators, they are also our children. They are our sons. So if we have structures at home that build strong boys, we will not have this problem in the future, because we are lax at home, because we are not there to really women imparting values not only in girls but in boys as well. If we don't have boys who have been trained, we are watching the movie of the script that we wrote through our parenting. That's the movie we are watching. Right. The movie we're watching is the script that we have written through the parenting.
I'll get back to you. Let me get to Barrister Diana. Now, when you listen to government's intervention in all of this, because at one time she's saying parents have failed, but now let's look at the part of the government. Let's look at the institutions that have been put in place. Are they strong enough to protect children? And when you read through government's communique and measures that they publish, what analysis do you make of it?
Okay, Maureen, what I will say is that Cameroon is governed by rule of laws that protect children's rights through the establishment of a strong legal framework. There is a strong legal framework through the establishment of different government institutions and the establishment of different mechanisms to protect children as well. And there are some NGOs and international organizations that are settled that are working on the issue as well. And the Bar Council as well is on the spot and working on it. So,
but this is the first time the Bar Council is coming out.
Bar Council is coming out, not that it's the first time, but we, yes, very powerfully, but we used to work. We used to work because we have different mechanisms that we set up a long time ago to come about. Or
but it was not seen, it was not at the forefront. People did not know the Bar Council was doing that.
But now
this time around,
things have changed.
Bar Council speaking out loud too on cases.
We are moving from advocacy now to real enforcement, operational enforcement on the field. Yes, and the Bar Council has come out with a mechanism and different schedule that are operational already. There is a hotline, the WhatsApp hotline that anybody can call at any time to report a case, and all the legal action henceforth related to sexual abuse will be, for children, sexual abuse will be free of charge. Yes, and then there are some different units that were settled in different regions.
Now you're telling me that this was existing before, but that is being reinforced right now. So what did you do before that is different right now? And how effective is this at this moment?
Right now, like this, if
do you think,
for example, if you call that
and denounce and say this is what I'm going through, or mothers,
yes, of course, if you call now, somebody you will reach somebody on the other line. You will reach somebody will attend to you. Yes. And if you reach out all the representative, because we have representative, bâtonnier representative at the different region of Cameroon, if you reach them, they will listen to you, they will assist you, and they will help you to carry out investigation free of charge.
All right. Barrister Martina, we are talking about government's intervention here because I think government is voicing it out. It's alarming. They are blowing a red line that the abuse of children, enough is enough. Now, when you look at all of this, what retains your memory in government's communication?
Okay. Well, I would like to acknowledge what the government is doing so far. Yes, we cannot say the government is not doing anything because, permit me to cite a little again about this. I've been working on, I've been on the civil society space for about 13 years now. I was much younger. I didn't know a lot of policies, a lot of principles in this sphere, but I was just doing my advocacy, going out there for girls whom I saw that they were at risk of abuse and all of that. But as I mature in the field and interact with policies of international organizations and the government, we found a lot of lapses. And during programs we always held, when maybe the government organizes a program through the Ministry of Women Empowerment and the Family in connection with UNFPA and other international organizations, there has been an advocacy, which advocacy has been going on, sensitization. And recently there is a remarkable innovation which we must commend. The existence of gender desk in institutions. At the police and the gendarmerie investigation centers. If you go to Limbe, for example, you're going to have at the Commissariat Central, you see boldly written in a separate office, gender desk. Now, the gender desk is specifically to receive cases of abuse against girls, against women, in fact, anything that has to do with sexual abuse. And that has special procedures or protocols, which is one of the things I'm pushing for in the Chronicles of the Survivors. I'm a lawyer and I've handled...
So the special, there's what's
there they receive cases of abuse, and the investigation procedure or taking down statements is different and it's more expedited. Before you can go to the police, right, to do a complaint like any other complaint. And even the manner of receiving a rape victim is deplorable to the extent that the child cannot talk. A child takes, a mother takes her daughter to a police or gendarmerie office to say that we have an abuse or we have a complaint. There is this attitude sometimes that we experience with officials who are receiving people, even you who is, maybe you have a theft, a complaint of theft or whatever. But now these gender desks have specialized officers who receive you with a consciousness that
officers, right?
With a consciousness that this person is already having a trauma. It takes a lot to speak up in the first place. So they will not be as careless or reckless in taking your statement as others will do. And then you also have, the government is working, for instance, currently there's a project under UNFPA, Women A, they're working in collaboration with the UNFPA to carry these projects to different communities, right up to grassroots, where sensitization about women empowerment, the need for women's protection, and all of that is done. Those are efforts, but are they enough? Is what we say they are not enough.
Where do we find the lapses?
The lapses is in terms of follow-up. Often you can have a structure, but the question is, who does the follow-up? Do we have officers do we have a mechanism that surveys how the officers who are supposed to be trained or specialized officers actually take down the statements? Let me say, before now, I'm in court, and a lawyer on the other side, when you have a fee, you want to defend your fee. You are counsel for another, for an accused person of rape, and maybe the rape victim or survivor in the context of United Nations appellation is a minor of 11 or 12 years old. And the child did not have the courage to speak to the parents because they have been threatened. So already they do not know how to approach the parent. And the lawyer is asking you want to claim that you have been raped for 3 years, living under your mother's roof, and you did not tell your mother. You're lying. Or are you sure that you were not enjoying what was happening? Those are things. You're talking to a child who has been bruised. Her innocence has been broken. And already it took a lot for her to even muster courage to speak up. Most often they don't even come up. People identify that something is wrong, get into investigating why their attitudes and stuff have changed before they even start saying, Daddy has been doing this, Uncle has been doing this.
So the procedure is a problem of procedure and follow-up.
Those are the policies we are pushing for change. No matter how you want to defend your legal fees, be mindful that the child who is standing in front of you could be your child. If she says that she has been abused, can there be difference in the way these investigations and interrogations are carried out? Already, rape cases when it comes to minor are done in camera. That is a policy which shields the child already, but it's not sufficient. There's supposed to be psychosocial or psychological considerations on how you interrogate a child who says that an adult who is supposed to be protecting me has raped me. She experiences sex for the first time in a very traumatizing way, and it gives her a very difficult perspective about life in general. You can't trust men, you can't trust marriage, you can't trust sex, and then they are bitter. And then you want to reassure this child that we cannot conclude that this adult has done it. We want to find out what actually happens. There should be consideration on how that has to be done.
Now let's look at the courts. When these cases go to courts, because the Bar Council or the Bar Association is saying they're taking it up, and they have to follow up these cases at the level of the court and ensure that this goes through. Barrister Gianna, that's what we are talking about. But now, we have had cases in court, but what are some of the sentences we've had? Does it convince people, the Bar Council coming up, does it give the Cameroonians that conviction that at least something's coming up differently?
Yes, there is a strong conviction that things will get better. Because today we are more aware of what is going on. And for a long time in court, going to court and following court procedure is not all about the lawyer, but you have magistrates. You have the legal system that is set up. I know at times lawyers fight a lot against that legal system because there is a lot of corruption and there is a lot of delay in the procedure, So now what we are struggling for is to see how things can be improved, how there can be a fast-track procedure for children, for example. Maybe when you come to court, maybe your matter, maybe you come to court with your matter, maybe you are on the list, maybe you are at the, let's say, maybe number 10 or number 20, you can just go and meet the judge and say that, okay, I've come here with a sensitive case. Can that sensitive case be here first of all, or can we go indoors, maybe in your office, and try to see how we can settle it?
Don't you think that we need more powerful measures? It's not just about going to court, like some powerful, more stringent measures.
At the level of the community.
I'm coming to you, Doris. Let her finish.
Yes, those measures, it's not only about lawyers, but it is the entire community that is involved. It is the government, it is you, it is I, it is me, it is families, parents, the educational system, and it is everybody. Everybody has to involve to get this situation Yes,
Doris.
then better.
Yes, thank you very much, Maureen. I think Barrister is correct about the community, at the level of the community, because the case I cited earlier, this girl finally ends up running away from home. Now, how do we do it? How do we find her? There are no clear structures, no clear directives in terms of where she should go.
Then how should perpetrators be punished at the level of the courts? Is it just a lawyer taking, because we've not had a strong case where a perpetrator has really been sentenced, and it makes Cameroonians to go on their knee and maybe pushes back all those who promote such acts.
Yeah, and well, at the level of the courts, I think they will answer that. But I'm talking about
Okay.
they'll answer that.
You don't
at
want
the
to get
level
into
of,
the shoes of a
No,
lawyer.
exactly.
Yeah.
Please let me know.
Okay.
It's a very, very noble
you're talking about
profession.
civil
You don't want to talk
society,
about
what you're
it. I want to
supposed to
talk
do.
about the
Okay.
civil society and the community where I belong.
Where you find yourself.
Where I find myself. Because before it reaches them, the thing is, how many people in the community even know that they have to reach them? Many of them don't know, because this particular young girl, I'm talking about reality on the grassroots. This girl, the mom is talking to me about it, and she has never spoken to anybody about it. And she's just saying, no, now we don't come, so more live and so. No, the man has to be brought to order. So we at the community level now, and community leaders need to be sensitized, need to be educated to know what steps they should follow. Because this woman is a vulnerable woman, like you said earlier. She's a vulnerable woman. She knows nothing about the courts. She doesn't even know what is in place. She doesn't know what the government...
It's about communication. Maybe a lot of people out there don't even know about the communication.
So I think that we should really decentralize that information and bring it down to the grassroots and help the person at the grassroots understand what they can do when they find themselves in that position.
Dr. Ufo.
This is getting heated. I want to come from a personal perspective, because me seated here, I've witnessed a lot of those things, and that gave me, I had to build a very high barricade and very solid one.
But that's you.
That could help. This structure could help many others.
Okay.
Now, as a parent, Doris was talking about what's happened at level of the home. I'm sorry to expose these birds. When I realized where I came from and the pandemic it was supposed to be inflicted on me, I call it the pandemic because it would have distorted my whole system. When I had my kids during marriage, I realized it wasn't safe. Personally, I realized it wasn't safe. The first thing I had to do was starting to educate my girls at a very tender age. At the age of 2, I would tell them the things you least expect. I will define what it is, everything you need to know, and tell them what it means if a man or even a fellow girl touches you in the wrong places. You got your privacy, which is all yours, and you got to own it, and you have to be very proud about your privacy. And it's not everybody has to see it nor touch it. They don't have the visa to reach out there. Now, when they started getting to the ages of the 10 and going to 11, my biggest, strongest point is my kids don't stay with nobody except me. I'm not inviting no family members to my home. I'm not inviting no friend to come spend a night in my home. And I'm not giving my children an opportunity to go do a holiday in anybody's house, because I don't want to receive news I cannot comprehend, because I may react. And I had to recreate that which was not created in me, in my kids. A defense mechanism of sleep with your eyes open. And when you hear a certain conversation flexibly coming out from an adult's mouth, know they can actually take action. When you allow your kids to share a room where you're having strong, mature conversations, you're building they'll consider it a free conversation around them. And at the end of the day, when they have it around them, outside that home, they take it normal. And then other things begin to happen. Another point that me as a parent and a mother of girls, grown-up girls now, is this. Allow these girls to learn the right way, and you be their first teacher. I'll come back to what Doris was saying. What are the homes saying? Do you know that while I was in Mutengene, we had a scenario wherein it was the father raping the daughter for over 3 years. I was the one who intervened in that situation. I was so pissed because every other person was thinking like, it has already happened now. Excuse me, happen what? Should we allow it keep happening, or should we take this person's toe to the place where it's supposed to be? Now, where I come in when I was asking about the barristers at law, and what is the bar circle saying? I'm going to ask this question. That is a legal matter, and there should be particular laws for those particular aspects. And how should it be? You asked the question earlier. Is it enough? It is enough on paper. It is perfectly enough on paper. Is it applicable? The answer is a no. Because when you start, there's a place where you get tied up because, okay, you don't have enough proof. But this child is suffering because just the fact that an adult touches a teenager's sensitive part, even if you didn't go to the latest, is enough to traumatize that child for the rest of their lives. So now, at the legal level, can we allow these kids to open up? Let's create a scenario where these children can really open up. She was just mentioning, this child comes up and is talking to another man who is probably not even married. And you're asking this, are you sure what you're... The moment you start screaming on this child is reiterating the things this child is trying to forget. So now let this legal system be able to create a scenario wherein these children can calmly feel comfortable and explain to them how it started and where it's going and how far it is gone. Otherwise, it will keep happening under our noses and we will not know. And we will keep raising children that are so bitter and we will not have a future for tomorrow. That's the honest truth.
All right. Now, let's revisit some of the measures put in place by government. Government announced anti-child abuse campaigns. You heard about that. They talked about hotlines or people to call. They talk about positive parenting, encouraging parents to be vigilant at this point in time. But at least we sampled the opinion of some parents who also think that the ball game should be at the level of the court, where you lawyers are, and again, parents to denounce such cases because there are a lot happening in neighborhoods, but most of them go unreported. Now, how often do families withdraw complaints due to pressure, fear, or financial settlements? Now, you are lawyers. Because right now, that's why the bar council is coming in to intervene, because a lot of families cannot afford most of those court cases. But when it goes to court, even when the lawyers are there, the families will withdraw out of fear. Barrister Martina.
Okay, thank you very much again, Maureen. So I'm going to say, before I get to your question correctly, I'm going to talk about, now, we have the aspect of the courtroom justice. It's not like it's a complete failure. We have people who have been slammed 15 years imprisonment, some 20 in cases of aggravated rape. We have some people who have been, yes, there are some who have gone for life imprisonment. So the penal code already gives a... But
Cameroonians said the communication is not enough around this.
We are not denying
because the thing that if the communication
lapses
is reinforced on that,
yes,
maybe they make it more pronounced, it is going to make others to desist from such activities.
Yes, so I was talking about what legal measures already exist.
Okay.
The penal code has sufficient sanctions for rape cases, indecency to children, sexual assault, and all of that. And when she was talking about those who are concerned, for instance, a parent. If you're a parent, you're a guardian, you have authority over a child who you're supposed to protect, you have a more severe sanction. The law actually makes provision for a more severe sanction. If you look at sections 296, 346, and 347 of the penal code, you have sanctions there, and there's aggravation for those who are supposed to be in authority or caretaking, protecting minors, and then they take advantage of their position of authority and instead abuse children. Their sanction is aggravated. Now, what we are going back to is the fact that why do all of the things continue happening even when these laws are there? The problem is that there is no sufficient awareness. The awareness is not enough. Then the legal procedures are usually very complex. That's what I was talking about.
Makes a lot of families to abandon along the line.
We've done cases where you see parents at a point say, I can't come to court again. My children can no longer come to court. Because you have to come today, and then the matter is adjourned. It's either at the behest of the court or the other council, or they say no, they are trying to do settlement. Now, going to the question you just asked, we need to do, it takes a lot of time to do a psychological work on families who are victims of abuse. Because there are many things involved. people are more afraid of the stigma society is going to come from society. They are more concerned about
and
the
that's why families
protection
are closing
of the
up,
child
trying to
thereafter.
protect the child.
Yes, the protection of the child thereafter, and then the expedition of the court procedures. So if we really want parents to report or to speak up, then we have to learn. We have to really put into place the measures of protection of the children. Now, yesterday I received a call, and was it 2 days ago? Someone was saying, my sister's daughter has been raped, and the mother is the perpetrator has come to the family for settlement. And I'm like, no, it's a no. They say, no, but we cannot afford. They are complaining about. I said, there are measures for unpaid, for pro bono interventions. There are even new reforms by the Bar Council. You do not need to be afraid about paying. The next thing she raises is, but the family is afraid. They don't want to start talking. They don't want people to start knowing that, all of that. That is why the United...
That is where the problem is.
The UNFPA system of survivor-centered approach is very effective if those who are in this field will take it up to her. Because you can actually do a rape case and nobody knows that is what is happening. Meaning right from the family, the families have to be involved or to be cautioned.
Okay.
If you don't want the children or the next neighbors to know that this is what is happening, there's what we call a survivor-centered approach. It protects the identity of the minors. It keeps the information in utmost confidentiality. It builds trust. There is a system which is in place, but many people are not aware, which is why we are still calling on the government, we are calling on the civil society.
What about civil society organizations coming together to work on this? Having one voice, trying to push the agenda, Doris.
Yes.
Auntie Doris,
that is
what we did with the GBV Justice Alliance.
So we have a GBV Justice Alliance led by Barrister Martina, and many of us in the civil society, we have understood that collaboration.
Because if one civil society is doing a job, the other one, but when you come together
our voices are stronger.
Right?
Yes, and I think last year we had so much impact. We were able to go to so many communities in Fako. This year, we are growing our influence, and we are looking at shifting to other regions like Bamenda to encourage communities there to do a similar thing. We just did something as well. Well, it's at the level of menstrual hygiene, which is also another area that it's an entry, is very connected to this. We just recently finished 28 days of activism for menstrual hygiene. So at the level of Boya, the civil society is doing quite a lot. And we are understanding the power of...
You're not just saying Boya, I want to see you everywhere.
Let's test it there first and see how it's working. And
we want you everywhere. We want in every neighborhood, we should find you there.
It was interesting because we mobilized over 33 organizations who came together for one cause to do something. And I think that this third generation civil society, I also lead Renoscam, which is a national network for civil society organizations. So I really promote that aspect of civil society organizations coming together to work together because our impact and our voices are louder.
What role can communities play in identifying and reporting abuse of children?
The first role, you talked about something, one of the measures that the government is talking about is positive parenting. So first of all, to educate, because I'm really looking at sustainability. Now we are looking at the fruit of something that has already happened. These are symptoms that are coming out. But then what do we do to really solve the problem at the grassroots, at the root cause? So if we can really start working on parenting. I mean, Royalty was an organization, we're actually working in collaboration with UNICEF right now to do positive parenting training, especially within the crisis context. Because the Northwest and the Southwest region are going through something completely different than what the rest of this nation is experiencing. Trauma and all of those things, children are more exposed and they're more vulnerable than the rest of the country. So this becomes now really important because parenting, first of all, women have to struggle with dealing with the fact that their husbands were killed and those kinds of things, and it exposes the children more. So it's important that we come in to help the parents to reinforce their parenting mechanisms and also to provide them with the necessary support to kick off.
We equally sampled the opinion of some women in the streets of Douala and other regions on personal measures that they are taking to identify abuses, not only in their homes, but in their immediate environments. Let's watch it right back. After
pour éviter l'abus, on doit essayer de dialoguer avec les enfants Tu les prends comme tes amis pour que vous essayez de causer.
Maintenant, dans notre société, il y a trop d'abus sexuels. Les grandes personnes qui abusent des enfants, on ne sait même plus quoi. Il n'y a pas la crainte de Dieu. Et dans ça, moi, j'ai opté pour ce que mes enfants ne sortent pas. Ils ne vont pas où je ne connais pas. Et les vacances chez les gens, si ce ne sont pas des personnes à qui je fais confiance, je n'envoie pas mes enfants.
C'est les débuts de vacances, on les conseille que bon, ne parlez pas, ne répondez pas n'importe quoi aux inconnus. Évitez certains propos envers les inconnus.
Les méthodes de surveillance, à chaque fois que mon enfant sort, je dois savoir où il part. Et je refuse que d'autres enfants viennent à la maison. Oui, quand je suis là, d'autres enfants peuvent être. C'est vrai, la tétuité des enfants, quand nous sortons, ils amènent leurs camarades. Mais tout ce que nous pouvons dire, c'est que Dieu nous aide. Parce qu'avec les atrocités que nous voyons dans notre pays, vraiment, ce n'est que la grâce de Dieu.
I give them good advice and I also tell them that as they are walking, if anybody tries to talk to them or any stranger tries to give them something, or talk to them, they should not respond to the stranger and they should not collect anything from any stranger. On sort là, ils sont à la maison, on demande comment la journée s'est passée. Du moins, en sortant même de la maison, on donne les travaux, on essaie de les occuper pour qu'ils ne se baladent pas au quartier.
Pas partir, rentrer avec eux. Tu dois seulement les parler pour que si à n'importe quoi, ils essaient de te parler aussi de retour.
Et aussi à l'école, je fais l'effort d'aller et de savoir qu'est-ce qui se passe à l'école, comment ça va, et prendre le numéro des enseignants, être au courant de tout. Vraiment, tout ce que j'implore, c'est ce caractère. Et je demande à chaque enfant d'être conscient. D'être conscient.
Il faut que le gouvernement doit prendre vraiment main. Et puis que quand on attrape un violeur vraiment de Dieu, on le condamne fermement.
Moi, je propose au gouvernement de nous aider pour les forces de maintien et pour les forces, parce que c'est pas eux aussi, ça va aller. Parce que si on connaît déjà que si on commet tel acte, il y aura telle sanction, je pense que ça peut un peu aller.
Je demande au gouvernement de mettre des sanctions très fortes pour ceux-là qui abusent des enfants. Parce qu'il n'est pas normal que nous, les adultes, nous avons grandi sans avoir cela et que les enfants aujourd'hui en souffrent parce que c'est un traumatisme très grave.
Welcome back. I want to get to Barrister Martina. We are almost rounding up the program. But now, justice is very important, right? Justice, that's what everybody wants. But what happens to a child after the court case?
Okay, very important. Okay, so when we talk about survival-centered approach in dealing with abuse, it's a whole chain. Now, through the United Nations system under the UNFPA, there's what we call the referral pathways. And under the referral pathways, we have different service providers. Under the civil society organizations, we have organizations in charge of providing healthcare. We have those who provide safe shelters, safe spaces. There are those who provide psychosocial support. There are others who are into legal aid. So with these referral pathways, after the abuse, after the court, what you need or what the child needs is psychosocial support.
But is it even available?
It is. Unfortunately, the organizations which are dealing with psychosocial support are still young and they are fewer. But currently, there is a very serious campaign or mobilization when it comes to mental health, because all of what we are dealing with aftermath is mental health. The child feels broken, identity is shattered. Now they go through a procedure of psychosocial rehabilitation. First things first, usually it is important to move children from the areas where they've been abused. That is where the safe spaces or safe shelters come in.
Okay.
Yes, when we go to communities, for instance, and maybe you
they should have the means to do that.
No, it is free. Most of the cases, the shelters are free. That is why we also need funding. I run a shelter, like I said, but our shelter was not specialized for cases of abuse. But most of the girls we have accommodated for education because we deal with vulnerable young girls. They turned out to be survivors of abuse. Parents never knew. So we worked both on psychosocial rehabilitation and the shelter, helping the girls find their identity back. Help them to know that beside being abused, you didn't die, and yes, you can find yourself again. Step by step, rebuilding their consciousness, rebuilding their self-worth. I'll always say, my life cannot be separated from the whole story of abuse.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You touched me somehow. But now I want to get to Barrister Ziana. Now that the Bar Council has launched that very beautiful initiative, now as a lawyer, how are you working towards that? How do you intend to carry out the sensitization in your own communities? Because we have a lot of persons out there who are not even aware.
Yes. Actually, what I'm trying to do is when anybody who asks for counseling, I will be ready to give appropriate counsel. If somebody is looking for help, I can give them help.
Now, how do you do your communication? Because I think you cannot sit in your office and say if anybody...
For my communication, most of the time, like I say, I used to work with Barrister Chakunte, Charlotte, who is more conversant into all these
such
practices,
cases,
and cases. And we used to work together. We used to organize some seminars. We used
so
to
you work
organize
you work as a team. It's
yes,
a team of
as
lawyers.
a team,
You
yes,
can
a team
share
of yes.
some of the cases and see how everybody pushes a case.
Yes, most of the time we will organize some seminar and some forum that we will go and try to sensitize ladies and children about all those abuses.
All right, Doris, at the level of the community, as civil society, there's a lot of work on ground right now. So what should be the urgency of the civil society? What should be their priority right now? I've seen some civil society organizations come out voicing their anger against what's happening. But now, what are the things that should be done right now?
Yeah, I want to go back to what I've been talking about. I would really like to just focus there that, civil society need a lot of education for the families that are involved, because in these vulnerable communities, most of the families don't even understand these systems that we are talking about.
So they need to go into communities,
they need to go into communities to really be able to educate more people. It means that funding is needed. Martina also mentioned the need for psychosocial support spaces that are within the community. We have safe spaces as well, because if a woman is really in danger, what do you do? I've met those kind of situations, but then we don't have many of these shelters where a woman can run to for rescue. Before you start getting to the court, she needs to stay alive. So first of all, she needs that.
And because the government announced providing 100 temporary shelters.
How are they doing that? I think that so now that needs to be done through the civil society who are present within the community.
Because we've seen women go to complain about their husbands, but after complaining, where do you return to?
That's the thing. That's the problem. And that is why these temporal safe spaces are needed. We need spaces where these women can run there for first of all, for safety before we start talking about what has happened to them and then start addressing the situation. And in those spaces, they also need activities for therapy, psychosocial support. They are limited.
Okay.
Very limited. And many of them are there. We have some, but they are not fully equipped because we don't have the finances to be able to, not even the information. We don't have the staff.
Like a woman is
you cannot hire the staff. You can't pay.
Can you keep her in that safe space for a week or days?
If the resources are there, it is absolutely possible. But the issue is the resources. Where are the staff?
Because you cannot expect the woman to come denounce and then return back to her home.
It's not possible. And the woman, you also don't need to end it there because it is highly linked to economic empowerment. If she's not financially independent, she remains vulnerable because now you will come and tell her, I will support you. Your children need to go to school. I'm vulnerable again. Before you know it, why don't you go me back for that man? That's the thing. So if we don't really, it's a holistic thing. The solution needs to be really holistic. So we need the safe spaces. We need income generating activities to be sponsored for these women to help them gain financial independence. We need to help them psychosocially to re-establish themselves back into community, to heal completely so that they can be able to live their lives effectively again. But above all things, tighten the parental control within the homes.
I love the word tightening it.
Yes.
Parental control. And this is holidays. This
Absolutely.
is holiday and the children are home for 3 months. So parents need to be vigilant. They need to tighten that parental control. Now, Dr. Clemency, now, what one urgent reform would you recommend to better protect children in Cameroon? We are almost rounding up.
Honestly,
if we were to propose a reform,
I will propose, let's build children who are strong in their minds. We need strong children today. We need children that can stand and tell a man in front of them, you will have to take off my throat before you do what you have to do. No matter how much they try to threaten you, you say, I prefer you kill me, and then you can do what you can do.
But a 3-year-old child can't do that, right?
Listen.
All right, let's
I started
okay.
talking to my kids when they were 2.
Okay.
When I'm giving them a shower, I will talk to them and I pray on their heads and I say all the positive things. So by the time they were 2 and they were able to open their mouth and speak, the narrative was completely different. Because why did I even have that energy to fathom to even speak out those things? I knew where I was coming from and I didn't want this cycle to repeat itself. So, and I have girls. And boys were lingering around. And now, see, these girls, they stand up and look at you in your eye and tell you, you are joking because you don't know where I came from. Do you get what I mean? If we begin to muster,
the children
muster the courage
at that
to
early
talk
stage,
these things.
telling them what they have to hear.
Guess what, Maureen? Most parents don't know how to talk about sexual issues to their kids. They are not even courageous enough to open their mouth and speak. And then when it happens, now the child doesn't even know how to start to tell. If I can give you, it's just that we're rounding off, I'll give you another story.
Just go ahead.
I'll tell you.
For a few minutes.
For a few seconds. Talking about menses, right? Listen, when my period came, shamefully for 6 months, I was not able to tell my own sister in the house for 6 months because she had never told me about menses. For 6 months, I was hiding it. I didn't even know how to start. It's 6 months after that, which I had to muster the courage to talk about it. I just told her, I have blood on my pants, passively. You get what I mean? That's the same thing that is happening even to this issue of sex. Let's open our mouth and speak to these kids. Otherwise, they're going to pick it from music. They're going to pick it from movies. They're going to speak it from random talks around. And they begin to verify. Trust me, you keep your phone. You go to peep. Before you come back, they're looking at that word they found. And don't know what is looking. And they're looking for pictures.
All right, Barrister Martina, if there's one reform you have to give us recommendation to end protect children in Cameroon, what would you say?
I'll go back.
She has listed one. Okay. Yes. What's that?
Let us be watchdogs in society. Every person in the community be a watchdog.
No blame game on any civil society. Everybody
should take responsibility. In the book, we have children who were discovered just by neighbors, the watchful eyes of a neighbor, who discovers that this child was once very jovial and active. Why is she suddenly withdrawn? By you as a mother, when your daughter tries to come up and you see her trying to fidget, but words, she cannot find words. What do? When she even musters the courage and comes to your room at night and say, Mom, please, I'm busy, I have to submit a report. Stop shunning children. One of the stories I captured in the Chronicles of the Survivors is a young girl who was threatened. At that time, the abuse was not yet taking place. The stepbrother was still just teasing her body, like throwing funny comments at her body. She complains to her mother. Her mother refuses to listen. And then the time she picks up the courage to say, Mom, it was too late. She couldn't talk anymore. And then this boy abuses the girl continuously until her own trauma was serious. She loses her speech. Those are levels of trauma I have seen in the community. There are children who have gone mute. There are some who have hated their parents. I've had to do reconciliation. It's like a social journey. Anyway, I did counseling in my theology program. So at least I knew something about how to walk people through a counseling process. So I've had to do reconciliation between mothers and their daughters because the children were bitter towards their mothers. You didn't teach me. You didn't listen to me. When I wanted to talk, you were not open. So we need to be vigilant. If there's one word I need to say, vigilance.
Okay.
If this child is withdrawing, don't take it that she's angry. Just find out what the withdrawal is about.
Right.
Everybody should be an active bystander.
All right.
Don't
now,
be passive.
Doris, tell us a little bit about your organization. What are those activities we'll be carrying out? Because we're not ending here. We'll keep doing it on the field because we don't need to fold our arms and wait for an international day to go to schools or go to communities.
Absolutely.
Doris.
Absolutely. We talked about holidays, this holiday, and there are three principal things that we are working on now. The first thing is a positive parenting session. We have identified 6 quarters within the My 16 community where we are going to be training 2 boys and 2 girls for them to become ambassadors and to lead life skill programs within their community so that they can educate their peers. So we'll do provide peer education for them to be able to provide that education within their communities and set up clubs and talk about these kinds of things. And then we're also going to be doing positive parenting, as I mentioned. And positive parenting, we are also identifying focal points within these quarters as well. 10 of them from each of these quarters that we are going to train and equip them. And of course, all of us here are resource people to be able to equip them with what they need to become effective parents at home, and not just at home, but then in their surrounding and in schools. And then lastly, of course, menstrual hygiene is something that is our perpetual work, and we use that a lot because what she's saying is very, very crucial. That's the entry point to a girl's dignity. That's the entry point to womanhood. If a girl by that time does not know a lot of things about her body, it becomes a whole destructive future.
All right, now we are rounding out, and I would like to start with Diana. You're looking at your camera in front of you. I don't know what you're telling any woman out there, but you're saying something, 30 seconds, free your heart, just say it the way you want to say it. Look at the camera while you talk.
Okay. I would just call on all the parents in all the different families. I will encourage them to speak out. Please speak out and break the silence. Try to meet a lawyer. Try to meet a lawyer. There are lawyers who are ready to listen to your case. There are lawyers who are ready to follow up your case free of charge. Please, just break the silence. And like Doctor said, try to educate your children. Educate them, male and female. Try to educate them about sexualities, about what can happen when it comes to sexual abuse. Try and educate those children.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Dr. Clementine Mufo, that's your camera right in front of you. I don't know what you're telling whosoever out there. It could be a girl child, it could be a boy child, it could be a woman, I don't know. You have 30 seconds to go.
Hi, sis. I know it might hurt, but trust me, you've not lost it all. I didn't lose it. I didn't lose it. I didn't let it go. You can't let it go right now. If they mess up, guess what? Don't let it continue. Let it end with you. Let the next girl, let the next boy not witness what you witnessed. You got to muster courage and educate yourself well enough to educate the next person.
Okay.
Don't be weak. Be as strong as the lady you are. And I love you.
All right, Doris, your camera is right in front of you.
All right, so all my community people, I'm a community person, and so to all of you in the community, our parents, our children are very special. They are the next presidents, they are the next leaders of this country, so they are precious and they need our time. So I'm calling on all parents for us to really prioritize parenting. That means creating a safe space for our kids and creating an environment where they can freely express themselves and tell us anything and everything about themselves. We are building a stronger community.
Now, Barrister Martina, it's time for you to tell us, you're talking to a woman out there, I don't know who you're talking to, but you're holding your books as well. So over to you.
Dear resilient girl, don't give in to what you know is going to break your life. And don't give up on that dream and that vision which you know is going to make you stand out and be a light to others. I was determined not to repeat the story of my mother, and so I fought when I had to fight. I had to tell myself what happened to my mother would not happen to me. So you need to be intentional about making the decisions and choices that will make you not to become a vulnerable shadow, but that you will become a radiant light, a girl whom others will look at their lives and will be inspired to live their dreams. And to you, dear lady, who has been broken because you fought but still you were overpowered, or you did not know how to fight and you gave in, it's not over. You can still rewrite your story. You can still become a woman who heals and who spreads healing to those who are still in the dark room. And dear society, dear government, dear advocates, let's change the narrative of interrogation, investigation about or towards those who have been bruised already. Victims or survivors of abuse have already been crushed. Innocents have been taken away violently. They do not want to come and feel like they are being judged because they did not scream loud enough. They shouldn't come in front of you to express their pain and you ask them if they were wearing a long skirt or a short skirt. They shouldn't come to talk about that they've been raped and you are asking if it was at 8 p.m. or 2 p.m. because even under the longest skirts, girls have been raped. Even children of 2 months and 3 months without any breast and anything exposed, they have been broken. So let's change the narrative in our society. Respect the dignity of girls and women, and let us know that every girl is a human being who has rights that should be protected and preserved. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Barrister Martina. I was like, let me clap at the end. Let me clap for you because you're really defending in the books, talking about what's happening to girls. And I want to end by saying that was beautifully, or I am elegantly and beautifully dressed by Shili Wawaye, Cameroonian artist. I'm sure you know her, and then she's class, fashion, blend with culture. I want to say thank you, Shili, for giving me this outfit, promoting me, supporting me in this program, Women and Leadership. And we want to thank all the ladies for taking out time, leaving the Southwest region, leaving Yaoundé, just to be part of this program. And to you out there, we know you had something. I mean, you caught the message of today, and we know the message has impacted your life. And don't fail to watch this program, Women and Leadership. Bye-bye. See you next time.